I'm driving. We're driving to the store to pick up some ingredients for today's fancy recipe. It is a Greek pie. A recipe courtesy of Ina Garten from the Barefoot Contessa TV show. It's in her cookbook too, I think, but I just saw it on TV the other day, so I thought that we would make it. Because today is a special day. It's Pie Day! How exciting. Look, the sun's in my eyes. Ow. So, this is a little bouncy. Yay! We're at Publix. We're going to grab the ingredients and we're going to go home and make it. So, stick with me. Talk to you soon. Okay, so I'm going to run through the prep work with you first here. Actually, I think it's really important for a recipe like this to get all your prep done first. Put them all in little bowls so you can get the production going the right way. So I chopped up a couple of onions here first, and then I had to saute those. And I just got them 10-15 minutes so they were translucent, and then I just set those off the stove to let them cool. Here I have some pine nuts and I'm toasting them. I'm not very good at that, as you can see. Whoops. But you just want to get those on a medium-high heat, and you can see the sort of browning that goes on. It gives them a really nice flavor. Next, I just chopped up some feta cheese. This is about like one brick that just, I think it's like 3 ounces. You get it. I have boar's head cheese here, but I don't think it really is too big of a deal which kind of cheese you use. Then I grated some Parmesan. It's got a couple of different kinds of cheese in here, which is really nice. But a word to the wise, what ended up happening was I added extra Parmesan because I love it, but it made it a little salty in the end, so maybe cut back on the salt later. As you can see, I abandoned my little grater and I used Thomas's fancy gadget here. He has this awesome cheese grater that he bought a while back, and I had forgotten about it. So I got that guy out, and here I am using his fancy grater because he's so much better than me. Next step is whole nutmeg, and you just grind it yourself, which makes a really, really fresh smelling, delicious, wonderful thing. So this is what a whole nutmeg looks like, and I've got my little grater here. I'm just going to rub that against the grater, and just wanted to give you an idea here of what it looks like on the inside. It always reminds me, for some reason, of grating a walnut or something. Like, it's kind of weird, but it smells so good, and it adds some real depth to dishes. So I love to use fresh nutmeg. So grate that, grate that, grate that. It's a lot of elbow work, but just keep going, and you'll get a nice little pile here. Then I used this fancy little technique that I had just made up. I ground it over the paper towel so I could just sort of dump it into my little measuring or my little bowl there. As you can see, that's a really nice MacGyver way of doing things, and I thought of that all by myself. So there's the nutmeg. I wish we had smell-o-vision because that smells incredible. Fresh ground nutmeg, yummy. Throw some butter in a bowl, and then I just put that in the microwave for about a minute because you want it to be fully melted. We're going to use that in a little bit. The next thing, I just took the salt and pepper, and here's where you would cut down a little bit on the salt. Pour that into the onions and just mix it up a little bit so it's ready for later. This is off the heat, and then you're just holding this until you're going to mix it all together. Then I have my little spinach technique, which is the way to drain it. So I had already microwaved it and got it all thawed out. You take the spinach and put it on a dish rag that you aren't too attached to because you're probably going to turn it all green. It needs to be sort of a thin one because see what you're going to do is then squeeze it and get all that water out. This is like really Hulk muscle kind of activity. You have to squeeze really hard, and my hands were getting tired and I'm like, oh, this sucks. But you have to just keep going and keep squeezing, get as much water as you can out, and you're left with a lump of spinach. Yay! Then you get to the time where you get to throw everything together. So there was the nutmeg. I put the eggs in right with the spinach in my big bowl, the breadcrumbs, and then I put in the cheese. There's the feta, and then the Parmesan. I'm going to give all of this a mix. Oh, sorry, forgot the pine nuts and the onions. I'm going to put all of that together, and this is going to be the mixture inside of the pie. So just mix it all together nice, get it all evenly mixed, and then you're ready to assemble. Okay, so here we get to the slightly harder part of the recipe. I'm just going to show you this. If you've never used phyllo dough before, it's this flaky sort of pastry dough, and it comes in these really thin sheets. And I've been using it for a long time in my life because we have this family recipe of baklava that I've learned to make as a child. And then growing up, we had it at all family gatherings and things like that. So I'm used to this stuff, but it is a little bit tricky to work with, so I'll walk you through how to do it. It comes like this, and it's frozen. It's in the frozen, like where the pies are and things like that. You get the dough, and what I did, it's best to let it thaw overnight, that kind of a thing. But what I did, since I was pressed for time, I did with the spinach, I microwaved it so I could get it thawed out quickly, and that seems to work just fine. And with this dough here, I microwaved that too. I left it in the plastic that it came in. It came in this little roll like this. Put it in the microwave for 45 seconds. And it's fine. It's in perfect condition right now. So I'll show you how to work with it. It's a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it's super easy. So we actually aren't going to need all of this. We only need 6 sheets of this. And what I have here is what I've done. When you work with phyllo or phyllo, however you pronounce it, we say phyllo in my family, but phyllo is probably right. Anyways, so you take, okay, when you see something made with phyllo, it's a lot of fat and a lot of calories. So this isn't going to be like the healthiest recipe. It has a ton of spinach in it, so that's great. But just know that we're going to be soaking this sucker in butter. So what I did was I melted a stick of butter here, and I have just a regular paintbrush that I only reserve for cooking, but they have specific paintbrushes for this sort of pastry as well that you can get at the grocery store, but I just have a regular one. As long as it's like I use natural fiber bristle, you're fine. So I'm going to take the phyllo here. I'm just going to throw it, well, I'll put it right here and try to work with it. As long as you work quickly with this dough, you're fine. What they usually tell you to do is to cover it with a damp cloth, but as long as you work quickly, you're fine. So I've got it set out here. I'm just going to separate, make sure I've just got one layer here. Take that off. Now it's tricky to work with. It sticks together. If you thawed it out overnight, it's going to be easier. So what you do, generally when you work with phyllo, you lay down one layer. Here's the fun part. This is great for kids too. So lay down a layer and then just brush the outer edges. See, mine is coming apart. That's okay. Just be careful. Brush the edges like this. Get all of those edges so it's kind of glued down, and just work your way around, and then get the whole piece of phyllo with butter. You can see now where the calories are coming from, and when you see a pastry like this and you're thinking, oh, it's probably not that bad for me, it is, and now you can see why. So we're gonna put the paintbrush back in, grab another layer. Generally, when you work with phyllo, you do 5 to 6 layers like this. So it's layer of phyllo, layer of butter, layer of phyllo, layer of butter, etc., until you have a nice thick layer. Then what we're going to do is we're only going to use 6 layers for this guy. That's going to be the outside of the pie. We're going to throw the filling in, wrap it up to make it a little rustic looking. I saw this, obviously I saw this recipe on Ina Garten's show, and it looked so delicious. It's a little messy, and it's nice to do because you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be like a pastry chef or something to do it. Take a look. There's a hole here. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's fine. Just lay that guy down. Once you get past the first layer, you're good. You're golden. So you can work a little bit quicker like this. Just slather that thing in butter. That's how it works. I'm just the messenger. I'm gonna do another layer here. Let's see, that was 3, right? Oh well, doesn't matter. I'm gonna say this is 4. Some more butter. That's what I like. You don't have to clarify the butter or anything like that. You can just microwave it and use it just like that. So that's 4. I've got 2 more layers to go. And this is actually, it's really fun to do. I mean, it's kind of crafty actually. It feels like you're doing something real fancy. And you can see how kids would really like something like this too, because it's painting, really. We're getting a little thicker here, which is great and exciting because it's going to be delicious. I feel like this recipe gives a little bit too much filling for this size phyllo, and maybe I got the wrong size or something. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll just use less of the filling. This one is not very happy. It's falling apart on me, but that's gonna be okay. See, it totally fell apart, but I'm just gonna put it back into place and you'll be fine. Even when you make baklava and other dishes like that, this doesn't matter. This is not a big deal because there's so many layers that it's not going to matter. So if you wanted more dough, you could put more layers on. That would be fine. You just want to not have too many so it's not too much of a dry sort of pastry. Okay, then here's the fun part. The recipe, you're just going to pick this all up, and now you can see it just comes up very easily. Just hold it all together like that. And I just flipped it over there to show you. It's dry on this side. What you're gonna do is just butter the pan that you're using so it won't stick, and then you're gonna be fine because the other side is dry. You could just throw some more butter on there if you wanted, and that would be fine too. So you take the mess of butter and dough here, pick that up gently, put it in your pan, and then all you're going to do is take a bunch of your mix here. You're going to throw that in, oops, the little phyllo dough pie, and it definitely seems like I have way more filling here than I do phyllo dough. So I'm gonna make a couple of these actually. Let me just get this guy here. I'm gonna make a couple of these. I'm gonna put a bunch of this in here. Then all you're gonna do, this is the easy part, you're just gonna fold it up like this so it's kind of this crazy looking rustic kind of thing, blob. And that's it. This is what you're gonna bake. So what you wanna do then, more butter, just paint the top of this so the outside gets coated, because you know you didn't put butter on the other side. So this way it's gonna coat all of those little pieces and make it a nice golden brown. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and make another one because that just wasn't, there's way too much filling for this. Okay, so actually I ended up making 3 of these with the amount of ingredients that I had left over. It might be a personal preference because, I mean, when I folded this one up, I wanted to have some of the crust on top instead of it being overflowing with the inside spinach mix. And that could just be a personal preference on the amount of spinach mix I put in there, but I'm gonna go with saying that this really makes about 3 of them. The butter just ran out. I have just enough filling for 1 more, and I don't know, I'm just getting the feeling that this is a 3 spinach pie mix. So I'm gonna put the mixture in for this last guy here. Just, oh, it smells so good, like onions, pine nuts, spinach. And I mean, I'm just gonna say there's a little bit of healthy stuff in here because of all that spinach, so just pretend that that's the whole reason you're making it, not because of a flaky, delicious dough. Remember when I was a kid and we used to make baklava, I used to eat this dough raw. I'm a raw dough eater. It's really weird. I
I don't know, I have a strong stomach. I guess it's made out of steel, and I don't really usually get sick from this kind of stuff, and so I just love dough. I don't know why. Raw dough is my thing. So I'm gonna put all 3 of these in here actually and just bake them just like this. I hope this goes okay, but it's strange to me that the recipe says 6 sheets of phyllo dough, 1 pie, because to me it doesn't fit. So I'm just gonna leave it like this, and I think we'll be fine just like this. And then you'll have extra. You could probably even freeze one of these once you've made it and just pop it in the oven later. That's probably a really good idea, and that's probably something I should be doing, which actually I think I'm going to. So we're gonna throw these in the oven here. Let me look at the temperature. It's 375 for 1 hour until the top is golden brown and the filling is set. So that's kind of the timing you want to look for here. And yeah, so let's get these guys in the oven. Okay, so what I've done here is I have wrapped these in some plastic wrap here, a couple of them. I'm gonna then wrap those in foil, and I'm gonna put them in the freezer, and they probably keep for a good couple of months. So you could just throw these into the oven. You'd want to thaw them first, but throw them in the oven, and I hope that works, because I'm wondering if actually, no, that should be fine. Just thaw these out, like, you know, in the fridge the night before, throw them in the oven the next day for an hour, and you have dinner already ready. So that's what I'm gonna do with these guys. This one I'm ready to put in the oven. Let me get this spinach out so it doesn't burn. It's gonna be 375 for about an hour, and you just want to check it and make sure, because everyone's oven cooking times are different. Throw that in there, and we'll see you in an hour.
Okay, so it's been about 50 minutes here, and I'm just gonna take a look. Oh my god, look at that! Smells like pastry, flaky pastry, yummy. This is a success. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it in for a few more minutes because that's what it says to do, and we'll be good.
Okay, so it's done. We're ready to take it out, and I'm gonna give it a try. Oh, yeah! This looks so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, this recipe is foolproof. Okay, I really think that. Let's dig into this sucker. Oh, it's so flaky. Can you hear that? Yum. Ah, the butter and you're gonna make somebody happy with this recipe. I'm just gonna take a little piece here. Okay, here we go. So let me give you a look at this, a really good look, okay? Move this out of the way here. Here's our pie. It smells amazing. Let's dig in. You can see pine nuts, cheese in there, the flaky crust. I gotta get some more of that on here. Make sure I don't burn the heck out of my mouth. Ooh, I gotta get pine nuts too. Okay. First impression, delicious. Second impression, a little bit salty. If you wanted to cut down on the salt a little bit, because the butter is salted, I put a bunch of salt in there, and then there's cheese too that's salty. The pepper amount is perfect. It gives this nice little spice. And it doesn't even taste like a super, well, okay, it's not super healthy, but it doesn't taste like a big bunch of spinach, you know what I mean? So, okay, I'm excited about this. Sorry, I get excited about food. You just have to deal with that. The other really exciting part here is that we have 2 more in the freezer that we can make anytime that we want to. So I suggest if you want to cut down on the recipe in by thirds or a half or something, you could do that. So if you didn't have a bunch of stuff left over, that's totally doable too. Or you could just make it like this and put a bunch in the freezer for later. So exciting, exciting, exciting. Good luck making this at home. It's the easiest thing ever. And I hope you come back soon to see some more recipes. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.